Hi! Welcome to this part of my solo tutorial featuring the quick and classic role-playing game. I am running this solo adventure using the Solo Adventuring Toolkit. If you haven't seen the other parts of this solo tutorial, please check out the playlist in the description below. You may remember from last time that the adventurers had made a deal with this dark elf by the name of Val Ranar. He was going to show them the place where treasure is being kept, and he would also show them the way to escape this dangerous crypt complex in exchange for his release. That is, he was trapped in this circle of runes, and Vulcan released him from his prison. So the adventurers continue, following Valranar's directions. They take a left turn, and approach a room illuminated by a magic glow, which reflects on hordes of gold, jeweled chests, and shining armor. The adventurers decide to throw two metal spikes at the treasure. The spikes bounce off, throwing sparks, and a loud buzzing sound is heard. The treasure seems to produce an electric discharge of sorts. And then, an illusion is dispelled, revealing that the treasure was actually a pile of rusty junk. The adventurers thought that this was quite suspicious on the part of Val Ranar, so they interrogated this dark elf, and he swore that that was not there before. He had not warned the adventurers because he was quite surprised that the treasure was out there instead of another room further ahead. But this is a lie, of course. Val Ranar wanted the adventurers to perhaps touch the treasure so that one or two of them would die, and then he wouldn't have to split more of the treasure with them. But now the adventurers do not trust Val Ranar. He mentioned that there is a secret door on the north wall, but the adventurers send him forward, and so Val Ranar is forced to open the secret door and disarm another trap. He was counting on that trap to kill 1, 2, or perhaps 3 adventurers in order to keep more of the treasure for himself. In the next room is where the real treasure lies. The adventurers find gold drachmas all over the floor, gems, a golden battle axe, an ancient silver helm, and an old tome. Since the party was put at risk in the other room, because Val Ranar did not warn them about that there was no treasure in that room, they only shared the drachmas with Val Ranar, and he should consider himself lucky because they were thinking about killing him because of his possible trickery. So the axe is taken by Fionn the Barbarian. This is a magical axe that gives you +3 valor, that is, +3 to your ability. Ardas the Crusader decided to take the helm. This helm has a property of rolling 1d4, and that's the amount of damage that you can absorb if you get hit. And Vulcan took the book, which is a tome of legends. It gives him a bonus during enigma checks. And this concludes this part of the solo tutorial, and I wanted to discuss some things related to the events in this part. When the adventurers first entered that fake room, fake treasury area, I read the first paragraph, which contained a brief description of the room, of the contents, and I decided that the treasure was quite suspicious. So I threw those iron spikes to see what would happen, and it was a fortunate course of action. But this is not always the safest way to do things. There are some rooms in which, for example in other adventures, other role-playing games, in which you throw something at the object of value, and the trap lies in the corridor from which you are throwing things, or perhaps you trigger some sort of curse. It could be anything. Now you could be thinking, why didn't you put Val Ranar at the front from the very start? And that's because there could also be the possibility that when he entered the room, he could perhaps pull some, like a lever, or activate some switch, or push a button, and maybe that would activate a trap within the hall outside of the room, or maybe a particulate or some sort of metal gate would fall, separating the adventurers from the treasure, and Val Ranar would be inside the room. so I only decided to do this after the first trap was revealed. Even so, I think it was worth it to take Valdranar along because he already knew where the treasure was going to be. He also possesses knowledge on where the exit is located, so I think it was a good decision to bring him along. And even though his treacherous dark elf scum, he still has to fight to survive. So there is safety in numbers. Unless there is a great opportunity for the dark elf to betray the rest of the party, he will have to contribute in fights and perhaps in other situations in order to survive this ordeal. Now, Valdranar does not know much about the rest of the dungeon, of the crypt, so things are going to be a bit more difficult. It was quite lucky that we found him on the southwest side of the crypt. If I had taken another route, maybe I would have entered this treasure room and I would have fallen prey to the second trap. So that's the way you handle this sort of social interaction in solo adventures. You need to come up with logical outcomes based on your decisions. So when you encounter a non-player character in your solo adventures, don't read too far ahead. Decide on what you're going to do and how you're going to interact with that non-player character. Like in my case, I decided, well, if he offers something beneficial for the party, I will let him join the group. And for the sake of fairness, therefore, the party was benefited by his knowledge, but also affected by his ill intent. Thank you for watching this part of the solo pre-gen adventure tutorial. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that have been supporting the channel by sending drive-thru RPG gift certificates. If anyone else wants to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. Once again, thank you and see you later.